As I think of ideas for my podcast, some of the things that I would love to do more of is like kind of doing some coming out stories. What I would really, really love is if I had somebody that wanted to come out and they did it on my show. And I could just like, I don't know, we could call one of their family members or something. I'd want it to go good. I would hate for them to say, "Oh yeah, we hate you, never call me again." But I would love to have somebody that would come out on my show, even if we didn't call their family. We just talked about it, and I helped them come up with a plan. Or somebody I know that wanted to come out to me. So if I have any friends that are listening to the show and you're secretly gay or bi or transgender, please text me and tell me so you can come on my show, and I would be happy to host you on my show so we could talk about it. Or if there's somebody that you're just a listener and you have thought about, like, are you gay or not? You just want to talk about it on my show. I would love to have you on. Or maybe you're bi, maybe you've thought about, you're questioning if you're transgender. I think it's a fascinating world, because I just remember whenever I came out, which was in the 90s, was it accepted? I mean, yes and no. It's not like it was accepted today, even though we're going backwards in this world. But I just, I was told this story in my podcast before, how my mother asked me if I was gay because my father wanted to know. And then he didn't talk to me for 6 months. And I was living back with my parents during college because me and my roommate had a falling out and I couldn't afford to live by myself. So I ended up moving back with my parents, and my dad got me a job at his company, and I had platinum blonde hair and 4 earrings in each ear. And then when I took the earrings out and shaved my head to go back to my natural color, that's when my mother or my father wanted my mother to ask me if I was gay. But they didn't ask me if I was gay when I was wearing blue vinyl pants or leather pants with big platform shoes and tiny crop tops showing my belly button ring. I mean, it was just like the opposite. It was like Bizarro World and Superman, where it was the opposite of whenever they should have asked me. But I love it when people come out. And my guest that's coming up today, he grew up as a young kid in Catholic school, trying to figure out the challenges of coming out. And so that's one of the things that we talk about. But he also has a love of horror movies, and I just love this idea that he had. I had such a good conversation with him, and I really liked the guy. And I even ordered his cookbook, and one of his cookbooks, and it's called The Ultimate Chick Flick Cookbook. And he has the Horror Movie Night Cookbook. And I ordered these, and my husband, when they came in through Amazon, took them both. And what I said I wanted to do, and I was talking with Richard, who's my guest today, I said, I want to have a party where I have people use these cookbooks, and because they have a drink basically that you can do with it, and a meal that you can make, and then you watch the movie together that's in the cookbook. And I want to have friends over, and I want to do that because I think it'd be fun. And without me talking to my husband Andrew about this, he actually said, "Oh, we should do this." So I think Richard came up with a great idea. And I love his cookbooks, and he has books on Amazon. He has another book called Gay for Plays that I ordered that one as well. All his books are really great. So after you listen to this, go to the description of the podcast. You can order the books for yourself. So thanks so much for listening, and hope you enjoy the interview with Richard. Hi, thanks for joining me on the Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay podcast. Today I have a guy, he's got multiple talents. His name is Richard Sargent. He is based out of Palm Springs, California. And we're doing this interview in August, so I'm assuming it's pretty hot today in Palm Springs. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yes, it's nice to be inside in the AC.
Yes. So I wanted to kind of start with your growing up when you were growing up as a kid, about just your childhood. Can you kind of just, and I've got a little bit of a write up on you, and that's why I'm asking you kind of straight out that question about how you were. Tell me about your childhood. Let's just go there.
I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I was in the city. We were, lower middle class family, like any Italian family. My grandmothers lived a street away, and my aunts and uncles were 2 streets away, and
Yeah.
it was all very family oriented. I grew up knowing I was a little bit different from everybody else, and I was teased a lot for it. I mean, apparently everybody else knew that I was gay before I did.
Like family or
No,
kids?
no, like all the like neighborhood bullies and everything
Yeah,
would,
kids are so
pin me in a corner, and
they're so mean.
the stuff you see in movies that you don't think is real that really does happen still. Unfortunately, like they pin you in a corner and start calling you, gay and all that other stuff. But anyway, so I was a good student. I did really well in school, and I enjoyed school, and I had a lot of close friends. And overall, it was great. I grew up in the Catholic school environment through elementary, middle, and high school,
Okay.
all in Pittsburgh. Then I moved to Erie, Pennsylvania, where I went to college, also a Catholic school. So I grew up with that mentality, the Catholic mentality, being gay is wrong, and so I didn't know how to feel about myself growing up. Very conflicted. And so what I would turn to is movies, and to see other people like me, because I didn't see any around me.
Yeah.
So, I would like go to the video store and rent movies as a kid, and gay movies that my parents wouldn't usually rent, and sneak them and watch them, and then hide them under my bed until I could return them without my parents seeing them. So it was sort of that kind of house. But everybody was really loving in my family, and they accept me and all that. So growing up was kind of nice, actually. If I'm being
whenever you told your parents that you were gay, finally, were they accepting of it, or did it take them a while to adjust?
It was a weird weekend. But
Only a weekend isn't bad.
Well, I mean, yeah. First of all, I came out as bi to them. I'm gay now, but back then, I was still questioning.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, and so I came out as bi, which I didn't even remember. They told me I came out as bi. But so, I told them, and there were all the typical questions that you hear, that get through tears, right? Like, what did I do wrong? And you should have told me sooner. We could have fixed this. And I'm like, oh, God, that's not how any of this works. So I stormed out of the house and went on a walk to clear my head. And then when I came back, we had a more level conversation about it. And, they just said, give me time and they'll be okay with it. And they were, for the most part. I mean, at least what they show me.
Yeah.
They're okay with it. They came to my wedding, and they love my husband, and they're very kind to him, and everything seems okay. Yeah.
How long have you and your husband been together, and how did you meet? I love asking this question.
This year, we've been together since 2009. This year was our 10th wedding anniversary. We met on Match.
Oh.
Back when it was like a little baby thing.
Yeah.
And, we usually don't tell people that, but, things have changed so much that, it's not all murderers on Match anymore. Like, you can really find
I met my husband on an AOL chat room.
Oh, okay.
And it was for a one-night stand for him to come over. And he came to my apartment, and he could have been a killer, and I would have, I just moved from Miami to New York, and I met him at a chat room, and he lived 4 blocks away, and then he's never left. So.
Boy, that's a really long one-night stand.
Really one night, yeah. But it's funny, whenever I opened the door whenever he came over, I knew, and it was weird that I knew. So
I agree. Yeah, when we first met in person, I was like, I don't need to pretend with this guy. Like, we're on the same level. Like, everything that he told me online seems to be true. And so we talked a couple times online for about 3 days. I was doing a free 3-day trial of Match. Too cheap to even pay for it back then. Too poor to pay for it. Let me
Yeah.
clarify that. But yeah, so I was like, I just wanted to let you know I'm doing a free 3-day trial. So if you want to like ever talk again, we probably should meet in person. And so we
Yeah.
did. And from there, we just hit it off. We have all the same interests, and it just
Cool.
really worked out. So I got pretty lucky.
So one of the reasons why I wanted to ask you about your childhood is just because rom-coms kind of helped you, right, when you were growing up. And is that kind of,
Um,
or what do they mean to
well,
you growing up as a gay kid?
growing up as a gay kid, I didn't relate to them at all,
You did
actually.
not.
Not at all. I didn't. It wasn't until I started to study film that I started to look at films differently. So I would go back and watch all of these rom-coms that are just typically, two straight white people who are probably going to end up together in the
Yeah.
end, like we have to wait it out for an hour and a half. But there's more to a lot of them, the good ones that, you may miss as just a regular person going in just to be entertained. If you're
Yeah.
studying these films, you may find something in all of these films that I put in my cookbook that even gay people can relate to.
Yeah.
So as I grew up, as I got older, I would say I started to really recognize that there's value to these films that a lot of people don't see. But growing up, I couldn't relate to rom-coms at
Yeah.
all. Give me all the dark stuff. Give me the horror, all of the freaks and that sort of stuff. Give me all that. Give me any sad movie, and I'm here for it. But the typical generic rom-coms that I guess were out when I was a kid, Pretty Woman, When Harry Met Sally, all those, I had no connection to them whatsoever when I watched.
So your first book was a horror cookbook, right?
It was, yeah.
And so tell me about that. And so since you were into horror, I guess films growing up, is that why you started with that? And is that what inspired you?
Yeah, I mean, horror is my jam. I grew up watching horror movies with my mother as a kid, and we would watch all the old black and whites after school or on the weekends. And she got me into the old ones. And then when Scream came out, it like changed my life forever. I just fell in love with that film, and from there I knew this was my genre. This is where I was going to go. So I studied horror in college, and I made a few really crappy horror movies, and I was in several others. And so when I moved to the West Coast a while ago,
Okay.
but eventually it took me to Tahoe, and in Tahoe I created my own theater company with some friends. And the friends that I created that theater company with, we were all doing a stage version of The Woman in Black.
Okay.
And it's a great show, but all of my friends were like, man, why are we even doing this show? We hate horror. Horror is so stupid. And I'm like, hold on. I studied horror my entire life. Let me show you some really good ones, or ones that I think you'll enjoy, you'll find meaning in, and then you can make up your mind. So I started doing these horror movie nights where I would do 3 movies. Each movie would be paired with either an appetizer, a main course, or a dessert, and each one had a drink as well, just to sort of make it more interactive and make them have more fun. And they loved the movies, and they loved the nights. And about after 5 of these nights, they were like, what are you going to do with this? I'm like, what are you talking about? We're just, we're having fun. We're watching movies. And they were like, no. Other people are going to want to do this too. So I thought, okay, well, maybe I could do like catered events, special events, things like that around town or whatever. But then I thought that was way too localized. So why don't I try putting it into a book?
Yeah.
And as soon as I tried putting into a book, like everything just fell into place, and it worked out really well. And so that is how the Horror Movie Night Cookbook came about. It started with me doing this myself.
So that's pretty amazing. How did you kind of like pick the ones that made the cut in the book and the ones that didn't?
Yeah. So I knew I had to gear the first book towards them. So movies that I loved, movies that were classics that
Yeah.
they probably have already seen and didn't look at them through the right lens, and then silly ones, just fun ones that I could fit into a theme that might have something deeper going on. And so that's kind of how I picked them, knowing my audience.
Yeah.
But luckily, they've been well received. The movies in this book have been pretty well received. I have Halloween, Psycho, Scream, Event Horizon, The Ruins, like really random stuff and really popular stuff. So it kind of spans the genre a little bit. And I gotta say, like they really liked it. And so the recipes that made the cut are just the ones that I got the thumbs up on from myself, first of all, and my friends, the ones that they really started raving about.
Did you grow up cooking or anything? Or this was just, I mean, Italian family likes to cook usually. So is that kind of where you got your cooking inspiration from?
That's where it all started, of course. But when I was in New York living the starving artist life, I was working in kitchens, and I took some cooking classes thinking, okay, maybe I will try my hand at this instead. Maybe I'll be a chef. And I loved it. I loved cooking, but I also realized that if I do this for a living, I'm going to hate it. So I decided not to do that and sort of put it on the back burner. But I would always spend time in the kitchen, especially when I moved west and all of the ingredients were really fresh. Like I really loved creating new things in the kitchen for dinner parties and just even for me and my husband. And so when this came around, I was like, "Oh, this is a way I can combine both of my loves," and it worked out. So,
and now your latest cookbook is the Ultimate Chick Flick Cookbook, right?
That's right. Yeah, the Ultimate Chick Flick Cookbook.
So tell me what films are kind of part of that.
Well, this one came about because my first one really it took off, and I was really surprised. And a lot of my fans, a lot of the feedback I got was, we love the idea of the book. Everything is great. We just do not like horror films. They scare us. We don't want to watch them. Okay. And so you should do chick flicks. So I was like, you know what? That would be a challenge for me. I don't love these films as much as I love horror. Let me go back and see if I can find something special about each one of these films that everybody seems to love. So I did. And that's sort of how I picked the movies that ended up in the book. And not every movie that I watched ended up in the book, but things like Bridget Jones, Beaches, Pretty Woman, When Harry Met Sally, Dirty Dancing, then some more unknown ones like Three to Tango and The Sweetest Thing, and even things like Barbie, 13 Going on 30. They're not all rom-coms, though. Thelma and Louise is in there, and Under the Tuscan Sun, and Waiting to Exhale, things that are How Stella Got a Groove Back, things that are a little more drama, a little more female empowerment. I wanted to, there are rom-coms are special, but there are more to the chick flick genre than just rom-com. So I wanted to kind of incorporate everything.
Yeah, and so do your fans did this satisfy them more than the horror one?
Yeah, I mean, yes, the ones that I've been able to talk to, they love the book. They've tested out things. They've sent me pictures, and they posted them online, and it's really great to see that they're enjoying the book as much as, I had a great time coming up with it, a better time than I thought I would, it's such a departure from horror, but yeah, no, it's been great to see the feedback.
So are you do you like rom-coms now more than you did since?
I do.
But you're still a horror fan.
I do, but nothing will take the place of horror, I don't think, in my life. But I do love, I love film. And that's really it. I love every genre. It's just chick flicks were hard for me to connect with. I wasn't the audience, and that's fine. You don't have to be the audience for everything that's put out there. But I wanted to find, for my own sake, a reason to like these movies. And so this gave me an excuse to do that. So yeah, I do like them.
I think you should do an 80s movie cookbook.
That's a great one. So I do have a whole series planned.
Oh, you do?
I do have some that are coming out down the road already.
Can you give us a sneak peek or no?
I can.
Okay.
One is the Queer Movie Cookbook.
Awesome.
Coming up next, I have Horror Movie Volume 2, which people have been waiting for. And I have one that I'm in talks with right now. I don't want to jinx it, but it's the Cult Classics.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So I have I've already my brain doesn't stop. And my notes section of my phone is like just
Yeah.
every theme I could possibly do. So I have like 30 books planned. So
Yeah.
it's been great, and it's really been a fun career curve for me.
So do you ever see yourself coming back behind the camera or even in front of the camera again to do? I mean, I can tell that you really love films and you went to I mean, do you miss that part, or is now you're doing this writing as a cookbook and stuff, and is that kind of where you want to go, or both?
Both. Yeah. It, I'm someone who doesn't stop. So I feel like I can balance both. It's just a matter of finding the right time to do a film again, because it's not just me. Like, it's
Yeah,
just me doing these. Me
yeah,
cooking for people, having the testing the recipes. I have time to do just me. But when I have to assemble a whole cast and crew and all of that, it's about timing. And right now, I don't think it's the right time. But I do want to get back behind the camera, in front of the camera. I'm
which do you
thinking about
prefer?
maybe getting back on stage. I think I prefer acting. I love being someone else.
Yeah,
It's great to find a character and be able to put everything into that, and just step away from your own life there for however long it is.
yeah.
I just really enjoy that. But I do have an eye for directing as well. I feel like as a director, you get to oversee everything and make sure it's
Yeah,
exactly how you want it, and so I like that part of directing
yeah,
as
yeah.
well. But I think I would prefer to be performing.
I love it that you have the notes section because I feel like I thought I was the only one that does that because I have like 25 million notes in my notes iPhone notes section, and it's just like I have an idea for a podcast or a guest I want, and I need to like go through and organize it a little more though because I just I feel like I started every time I have an idea.
Mine's a mess. Yeah, every time I like lyrics to a song or whatever, I just go right to that note section. It's so useful for me.
Can you talk about kind of just some of the recipes that you have in your latest cookbook? Just I have a couple in here. Brewski Beer Cheesecake from Barbie.
Yeah, yeah. So that one, I mean, if you've seen the film, you'll understand how the
Yeah,
Brewski beer relates to it. And I thought, rather than just do a beer cocktail, because again, every movie comes with a meal and a cocktail, I thought, well, why don't I try to incorporate that into the dessert? And so I I flattened the beer. I used a cream ale, which is a little bit sweeter. It's You wouldn't even really know that there's beer in this
yeah.
recipe if you didn't read it first. And so I decided to put it into a cheesecake, and my husband hates cheesecake.
Oh,
And so when he ate this, he was like, "Holy crap, what is this?" And I'm like, "Well, surprise,
it's
it's
cheesecake.
cheesecake." And he loved it. So yeah, so that's sort of how I incorporated the that into Barbie, and then the drink for Barbie. Trying to pull it up. I wrote this one a while ago, so it's good to go back and sort of oh, here it is, Brewski Beer Cheesecake. Oh, I don't know how to drink tea, right? So she's meeting with the creator of Barbie, and
Yeah.
she pours her tea, and she's like, I don't know how to drink this, and so I did a an Earl Grey tea beverage to pair with it as well. I try to pick important things from the film, not just random things
Yeah.
that people can that it feels like they're being brought into the movie, not just like, oh, they're sitting here eating popcorn, so let me make popcorn. You know what I mean?
So I don't know if I said this at the beginning of the podcast or before we started, but I just ordered all. You have 3 books we're going to talk about. That another one just came out, but I just ordered all 3 of your books, and I kind of see these like I see getting this rom-com Chick Flick Cookbook, and I see like inviting friends over and doing this as a party. Is that kind of what you see people doing with it?
That's exactly what I want people to do with it. All of my recipes are made, well, as much as possible, are made for 6 people.
Okay.
So my goal is for people to come over, maybe cook together.
Yeah.
Maybe one person work on this part of the recipe, one person work on the other, somebody do the drink, that sort of thing. So everybody, it brings people together, and then you get to sit down and enjoy what you've created while watching this beautiful piece of art that inspired what you're eating, and
Yeah.
you can feel like you're part of it. I wanted it to feel like a whole interactive evening, And so that's sort of how I came up with what I did.
I love the idea. I mean, it's
Thank
just
you.
it's so unique, and I don't know. I'm gonna send you pictures of my when I have people over to show you how we did.
Please do. I love that. I love hearing about like that other people are enjoying it, and
Yeah,
how the food came out on, using your stove. Like maybe it's different
yeah.
than mine. Maybe the timing's a little different. And that's why I put a note section at the end of each of the books as well. So you can say, okay, well, this maybe needs to cook a little longer with my stove. So you can, go back and put Barbie recipe, cook cheesecake 5 minutes longer than it says, that
Yeah.
sort of thing. Or I took this out and let me incorporate this. So as you know, the notes are very important in my life. so, so I wanted to give people the opportunity to keep notes in their cookbook as well. But yeah, so my I've had people come over and help me, and it's just a really fun time. And I've had people tell me like they used. I was doing an interview once, and the gentleman told me that he went to a wedding where people were using the Horror Movie Night Cookbook as their like
Oh my,
pre-wedding
that's amazing.
menu. Isn't that great? Like things like that. Like I never thought it would have that sort of response, and it's so cool that
That is
people are
so. I
like,
love that. That is so amazing that somebody even shared that with you too. You
I
know.
know it's. I'm just so glad people like it. I thought I was the only weirdo that was going to enjoy doing any of
No,
this,
it's a
but
fantastic, unique idea. That's why I wanted to have you on because I just love the fact that you kind of came up with this based on your love of film and just it's such a people love food, people love movies, and you're kind of putting it together to be interactive. And I think that's amazing. I love it also that there's cocktails in it because I'm always when I have people over, I'm always I don't want to do the same cocktails that I feel like I always default to. So this is really kind of giving a good guidance and helping me think of something new. So that's
oh, good. Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I knew I couldn't get my friends to come over if I didn't have booze involved.
oh, yeah,
So that's
same.
sort of where that started. But yeah, it's so funny. I don't really drink much anymore. The only time I drink is when I'm putting these cookbooks together. So I hope that you enjoy them, and I hope your
Yeah,
friends
or maybe you
enjoy
do like a California slash Massachusetts since cannabis marijuana is legal and like do a cook like that because that's like what
it. There's maybe one in the horror movie night cookbook too that
really
has
okay.
weed in it. Yeah.
Cool. Um, as I was researching you, I see that you just had another book that came out in July called Gay for Plays. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure, yeah. So I went to school for theater and communications and
Yeah.
film and all that. So I've been writing for the stage for a while. A lot of my plays, short plays, have been produced across the country. And some of the ones that I really liked, some of the ones that have been produced before, and I know I'm pretty much done with those. They're not getting any more rewrites.
Okay.
I decided to put into an anthology of queer shorts called Gay for Plays. And there's seven plays, some award winners, some nominees, some comedy, some drama, some political plays. It's all focused around the queer experience. And it's, uh, it's a journey.
Yeah.
Let me say that. So yeah, these are all plays that I wrote throughout the years. A lot of them sort of do depend on the time. Like there's some political stuff in there, and some coming out stories, things like
Yeah.
that. It's but yeah, it's just a little collection of things that I thought people might want to read as a little distraction.
That's amazing.
Thanks.
So, for anybody that is interested in any of these books, excuse me, I will put a link to all three of Richard's books in the description of the podcast or this video. If you're is Amazon the best place? That's what I was going to put the links to. Is that, or is there
I
somewhere?
mean, that is one place where you can get all three. The Horror Movie Night Cookbook is sold pretty much anywhere in
Okay.
stores. The other two, for now, are just on Amazon.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll put a link there, and then the horror, or if you're out somewhere, maybe they'll see it and they'll pick it up there. But I will put it in the description of this podcast or video so they can click on it. Just just go buy it. So
Awesome. Thank you.
I love the fact that, again, that you have just taken your love for film and food and put it together, and just you're inspiring people. I mean, the wedding story is pre-wedding dinner is just amazing. And I hope that more people do stuff like that. So
Thank you. I hope they continue to enjoy it as well. And I hope you like it.
yeah, I'll let you know. I mean, I'm going to have some friends over once I get it. I think it's getting here Monday. All three are getting here Monday, so I will. I'll let you know. And before this comes out, before this episode comes out, I always do a little kind of intro. And so, as part of my intro, I'll make sure I use the cookbook first, and I'll talk about my experience with it for the intro. So
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
great. Well, thank you so much for being on, Richard. It was just so amazing meeting you and having you on. And again, keep the creativity coming, and think about the '80s movies and stuff. You know,
I
the
will.
16 Candles. You know, all
I mean,
those
it practically writes itself. The
Oh
80s
yeah,
are so classic. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I will definitely think of that.
Cool. Awesome. Well, it was so great meeting you, and thank you for being on. Everybody, please be sure to subscribe to the podcast. Also, leave a comment and let us know what you think about Richard's books once you buy them. Thanks so much, everybody, for listening. Thanks for being on, Richard.
Thank you.